Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah, chapters 49 and 50. Concerning the Ammonites, thus said Yehovah, has Israel no sons? Has he no heir? Why has Malcolm taken possession of Gad, and his people dwell in its cities? Therefore see, the days are coming, declares Yehovah, when I shall sound a battle cry in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be a heap, a waste land, and her villages shall be burned with fire. Then Israel shall dispossess those who dispossessed him, declares Yehovah. Howl, O Heshbon, for Ai is ravaged. Cry, O daughters of Rabbah, gird on sackcloth, lament and diligently search by the walls, for Malcolm shall go into exile with his priests and his heads. Why do you boast in the valleys? Your flowing valley, O backsliding daughter, who is trusting in her treasures, saying, who would come against me? See, I'm bringing fear upon you from all those around you, declares Master Yehovah of hosts. And you shall be driven out, each one straight ahead, with no one to bring home the wanderer. And after this I turn back the captivity of the children of Ammon, declares Yehovah. Concerning Edom, thus said Yehovah of hosts, is there no more wisdom in Teman? Has counsel been lost to those with understanding? Has their wisdom vanished? Flee, turn back, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I shall bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I shall punish him. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? Even thieves by night would destroy only until they had enough. But as for me, I shall make Esau bare. I shall uncover his hiding places, so that he is unable to conceal himself. His seed is ravaged, his brothers and his neighbors, and he's no more. Leave your fatherless children, let me keep them alive, and let your widows trust in me. For thus said Yehovah, see, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have certainly drunk. And are you the one to go unpunished? You shall certainly not go unpunished, but certainly drink of it. For I've sworn by myself, declares Yehovah, that Botzrah is to become a ruin, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all its cities become everlasting wastes. I have heard a report from Yehovah, and an envoy has been sent to the nations. Gather together, come against her, and rise up to battle. For look, I shall make you small among nations, despised among men. The dread for you, the pride of your heart has deceived you, O you who dwell in the clefts of the rock, holding the height of the hill. Though you make your nest as high as the eagle, from there I bring you down, declares the Master, and Edom shall be a ruin. Everyone who passes by it is astonished and whistles at all its plagues. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Amorah and their neighboring cities, declares Yehovah, no one shall dwell there, nor would a son of man sojourn in it. See, he comes up like a lion from the Yarden jungle against the home of the strong, but in an instant I shall make him run away from her. And who is the chosen one to appoint over her? For who is like me, and who summons me, and who is that shepherd who stands before me? Therefore hear the counsel of Yehovah, which he has counseled concerning Edom, and the purposes he has purposed concerning the inhabitants of Teman. The least of the flock shall drag them away. He shall make their pasture a waste before them. The earth shall be shaken at the noise of their fall, and there is an outcry. Its noise is heard at the Sea of Reeds. See, like an eagle he flies up and spreads his wings over Botzrah, and the heart of the mighty men of Edom in that day shall be like the heart of a woman in her pain. Concerning Damasek, Hamath and Arpad have been put to shame, for they have heard an evil report. They've been melted in anxiety like the sea, unable to rest. Damasek has become feeble. She's turned to flee, and trembling has taken hold of her. Distress and pain have seized her like a woman in labor. How is the city of praise deserted, the city of my joy? Therefore, her young men fall in her streets, and all the men of battle are cut off in that day, declares Yehovah of hosts. And I shall kindle a fire in the wall of Damasek, and it shall consume the places of Ben-Hadad. To Kedar, and to the reigns of Hatzar, which Nebuchadrezzar, sovereign of Babel, struck. Thus said Yehovah, Arise, go up to Kedar, and ravage the men of the east. Their tents and their flocks, their curtains, and all their vessels shall be taken, and they shall take away their camels for themselves, and they shall cry out to them, Fear is on every side. Flee, go away, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Hatzor, declares Yehovah. For Nebuchadrezzar, sovereign of Babel, has taken counsel against you and has devised a plan against you. Arise, go up to the nation at ease that dwells safely, declares Yehovah. It has no gates or bars, they dwell alone. And their camels shall become plunder, and their large herds booty, and I shall scatter them to all winds, and those who cut off the corner and bring their calamity from all sides, declares Yehovah. Hatzar shall be a habitation for jackals, a desert forever. No one dwells there, nor does Son of Man sojourn in it. The word of Yehovah that came to Yirmiyahu the prophet concerning Elam, in the beginning of the reign of Tzidkiah, the sovereign of Yehuda, saying, Thus said Yehovah of hosts, See, I am breaking the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. And I shall bring upon Elam the four winds from the four corners of the heavens, and scatter them toward all those winds. And there shall be no nation where the outcasts of Elam do not go. And I shall break Elam before their enemies, and before those who seek their life. And I shall bring evil upon them, my burning displeasure, declares Yehovah. And I shall send the sword after them, until I've consumed them. And I shall set my throne in Elam, and destroy from there the sovereign and the heads, declares Yehovah. And it shall be in the latter days that I turn back the captivity of Elam, declares Yehovah. Chapter 50. The word that Yehovah spoke concerning Babel, concerning the land of the Kasdim, by Yirmiyahu the prophet. Declare among the nations, and let it be heard, and lift up a banner. Let it be heard, and do not conceal it. Say, Babel shall be taken, Bel shall be put to shame, Merodach shall be broken, her images shall be put to shame, her idols shall be broken. For a nation shall come up against her from the north, which shall make her land waste, and none shall dwell in it. They shall flee, they shall go, both man and beast. In those days and at that time, declares Yehovah, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Yehuda together, weeping as they come, and seek their Elohim. They shall ask the way to Zion, their faces toward it. Come and let us join ourselves to Yehovah in an everlasting covenant, never to be forgotten. My people have been wandering sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray, turning them away on the mountains. They've gone from mountain to hill. They've forgotten their resting place. All who found them have devoured them, and their adversaries have said, We're not guilty because they sinned against Yehovah, the home of righteousness, and the expectation of their fathers, Yehovah. Flee from the midst of Babel. Come out of the land of the Kasdim, and be as rams before a flock. For look, I'm stirring up and bringing up against Babel an assembly of great nations from a land of the north, and they shall array themselves against her. From there she shall be captured. Their arrows are like those of a mighty skilled man, not returning empty-handed. And Chaldea shall become plunder. All who plunder her shall satisfy themselves, declares Yehovah. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, you who plunder my inheritance, because you've grown fat like a heifer threshing grain, and you neigh like stallions, your mother shall be greatly ashamed. She who bore you shall be humiliated. Look, the last of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yehovah, she shall not be inhabited, but she shall be deserted, all of it. Everyone passing by Babel shall be astonished and whistle at all her plagues. Set yourselves in array against Babel all around, all you who bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yehovah. Shout against her all around. She has given her hand. Her foundations have fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yehovah. Take vengeance on her. As she has done, so do to her. Cut off the sower from Babel, and him who handles the sickle at harvest time. From before the sword of the oppressor, each one turns to his own people, and each one flees to his own land. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the sovereign of Ashur devoured him, and now at last this Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, has broken his bones. Therefore thus said Yehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I'm punishing the sovereign of Babel and his land as I punished the sovereign of Ashur. And I shall bring back Israel to his pasture, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his being shall be satisfied on Mount Ephraim and Gilad. In those days, and at that time, declares Yehovah, the crookedness of Israel shall be searched for, but there shall be none, and the sin of Yehuda, but none shall be found. For I shall pardon those whom I leave as a remnant. Go up against the land of Merathaim, against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Slay and put them under the ban, declares Yehovah, and do according to all that I have commanded you. There is a sound of battle in the land and of great destruction. How the hammer of all the earth has been cut off and broken, how Babel has become a ruin among the nations. I've laid a snare for you, and you were captured, O Babel, and you yourself did not know. You've been found and also caught, because you strove against Yehovah. Yehovah has opened his armory and has brought out the weapons of his displeasure, for the Master Elohim of hosts has a work to do in the land of the Kasdim. Come against her from every quarter, open her storehouses, pile her up as heaps of ruins, and put her under the ban. Let her have no remnant. Slay all her bulls, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time of their punishment. Listen, they flee and escape from the land of Babel to declare in Sion the vengeance of Yehovah our Elohim, the vengeance of his Hakal. Summon archers against Babel, all you who bend the bow, and camp against it all around. Let no one escape. Repay her according to her work, to do to her according to all that she has done. For she has been proud against Yehovah, against the set-apart one of Israel. Therefore her young men shall fall in the streets, and her men of battle shall perish in that day, declares Yehovah. See, I am against you, O proud one, declares the Master Yehovah of hosts. For your day has come, the time for your punishment. And the proud one shall stumble, and he shall fall with no one to raise him up. And I shall kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all around him. Thus said Yehovah of hosts, the children of Israel were oppressed along with the children of Yehuda, and all who took them captive have held them fast. They refused to let them go. But their Redeemer is strong. Yehovah of hosts is his name. He shall strongly plead their case. so as to give rest to the land, but unrest to the inhabitants of Babel. A sword is upon the Kasdim, declares Yehovah, and it is upon the inhabitants of Babel, and upon her heads, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall be fools. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be broken down. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mixed peoples who are in their midst, and they shall become like women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be plundered. A sword is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is a land of carved images, and they boast about their idols. Therefore the wild desert beasts shall dwell with the jackals, and the ostriches dwell in it. And it shall never again be inhabited, nor dwelt in unto all generations. As Elohim overthrew Sodom and Amorah and their neighboring cities, declares Yehovah, so no one would dwell there, nor would Son of Man sojourn in it. See, a people shall come from the north, and a great army and many sovereigns stirred up from the ends of the earth. They strengthen their bow and spear. They are cruel, and they show no compassion. They sound like the roaring sea, and ride on horses set in array, like a man for the battle against you, O daughter of Babel. The sovereign of Babel has heard the report about them, and his hands became weak. Distress has taken hold of him, pain like that of a woman in labor. See, he comes up like a lion from the yard and jungle against the enduring pasture. But in an instant I shall make them run away from her. And who is the chosen one whom I appoint against her? For who is like me? Who summons me? And who is that shepherd who stands before me? Therefore hear the counsel of Yehovah, which he has counseled concerning Babel, and his purposes he has purposed concerning the land of the Kasdim. The least of the flock shall drag them away. He shall make their pasture a waste before them. At the sound of Babel's capture, the earth shall be shaken, and the outcry shall be heard among the nations.